Where do you live now?
I'm living, I have been living in Miami since 2015.
Oh, and how come you live in Florida? Because you teach, or is it because you're originally from there? Or?
Yes, I took a position in 2015 as a professor at the Frost School of Music. And I moved there with my wife and my stepson, and we're very, very happy there. And I've tried to build up a studio of very fine, talented pianists, and it's a wonderful, fulfilling life. I enjoy it very much.
And so where were you born actually?
In California.
Oh, so California. So how is it between, if you compare with your hometown, California and Florida?
Well, there are some similarities. There's the palm trees and things, because I lived in Southern California on a little island near the Pacific Ocean, and now I live a couple miles away from the Atlantic Ocean, and it's sort of subtropical down there. So, we don't get really cold winters, just like in California. So that's very nice. I enjoy the temperate climate. It's a little warm and a little humid in Miami, but it's a lovely place to live and just sort of peacefully engage in my second love, which is teaching.
So both cities is very warm and near the ocean, very tropical. I mean, the weather.
I mean, Southern California isn't tropical. It's much drier than that. But on the coast, it's very pleasant there. It never snows or anything, and it can get quite warm sometimes in the summers. But I have very fond memories growing up in California when I was. I remember, as a teenager, I would open the window of my bedroom and I could listen to the ocean. It was 2 blocks away, so I could hear the ocean, the breakers, the waves. It was just a wonderful, and the smell from the ocean. So that's a memory that's always stayed with me.
And is your wife a musician? Is she a musician?
Yes, she's a violinist. We actually met.
Violinist, I see. So do you often play together?
Well, not so much, but occasionally. She played in an orchestra for more than 20 years in Poland, and we met actually during a recording session.
Oh, how romantic! Oh, really?
I was recording the works for piano and orchestra of Paderewski.
Yes.
And I was available, and I saw this lovely violinist in the second violin section, and it was very inspiring. That was one of my favorite recordings.
Thanks to her, yeah.
Yes, that was in the end of 2010.
Oh, and is she American?
She's Polish.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yes.
It's a very what a fate, because you won the Chopin competition and marrying a Polish, right?
Well, yes, I actually have 2 wives.
Yes.
Well, not consecutively. So my first wife was she was English and Polish, Polish heritage, but born in England.
Yeah.
So we have 3 daughters, and they all grew up in England. I lived in England for 19 years.
Yeah.
My daughters all grew up there, and because of the Polish heritage of my first wife, we spent a lot of time visiting her family.
Yes.
So later, in my second marriage, I guess I have I really fall for the Polish women. I'm very attracted to Polish culture, to the country of Poland. It has always enchanted me, and I still have a property there, and
In Warsaw? In Warsaw?
Yes, my wife is from Białystok, which is in the northeast of Poland, and my flat is in Krakow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Krakow is very special to me.
Yeah, I heard it.
I traveled there as a 17-year-old with my mother when I went to take lessons with a really wonderful, iconic Polish professor, Ludwik Stawański. And that was a very special time in Polish history. It was 1980, and it was the time of the Solidarity Union strikes, and I was just in the middle of that, and I saw that, and that was another really vivid memory that has stayed with me. And I just have so many connections to the city of Krakow, and so I'm very happy that I can go back there now that we have this flat, and
So when you're 17, you went from California to Poland.
Yes, just for a very short time. I had intended to stay there for at least a year, but because of the American embassy had requested that all Americans leave the country.
Yes.
December of 1980 because it was unsafe. So unfortunately, I had to leave. So I only spent about half a year in Poland.
So the teacher's name was could you repeat again? The teacher.
Yes, his name was Ludwig Stawiński.
Oh, I see. How old was he at that time?
Well, he was quite elderly, and in fact, he died only a couple of years after I met him. But he was the husband of Halina Czerny-Stawińska, who won the Chopin competition in 1949.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
And he was also the teacher of Krzysztof Brzuza, who was a Polish pianist who emigrated to America as a young man. And I met him as a 13-year-old, and he became my teacher. And so it was his idea that I should go and study with his teacher in Poland, and also to prepare for the Chopin competition in 1980.
So in your life, this Poland is like always a fate in your life. Polish culture, Polish people, and Polish music, right?
Yes, somehow. I think that the experiences you have as a child or a teenager, they tend to really create a very deep imprint on our memory, and so my life has sort of centered around Polish culture.
Do you speak Polish now? Of course.
I do speak, not particularly well. I don't practice it with my wife, and but I from 2011 until 2015, I lived exclusively in Poland. And so I did sort of learn Polish just by speaking with people and taking individual courses.
Because I thought even you can look Polish, like Eastern European. Yes.
No, I have absolutely not one cell that's Polish. My ancestors come from England and Scotland and Wales.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
And your mother, is she a musician? She was a musician?
No, my parents were not musicians, but I think that the talent was there. It was simply not recognized or not developed. My father, he had perfect pitch. This is something I recognized when I was growing up. He didn't know what it was, but we figured it out. And he learned to play the mandolin on his own, and he had nothing to do with music. He was first an English teacher, and because he grew up in depression with many siblings, he took a second job at a radio shop in addition to teaching English at a high school, and then eventually he became an engineer. And spent many years working as a civilian in the U.S. Navy. So he had nothing to do with music. And my mother grew up in a farm in Texas.
I see.
Farm, with horse and cattle and I mean, she had no connection to music. But I think it was because of my mother that I was introduced to music. Because she recognized that raising children, it was important that you give them some sort of creative outlet. And so she bought a small piano in the house, and my older siblings learned to play the piano. And I, as a 3-4-year-old, I just remember that piano, and I loved to just sort of play on it. And when I was 5 years old, my older sister, who was 9, was going to start piano lessons, and I begged my parents if I could join her and have piano lessons. So that's how it all started.
So you have your older sister and you, two of you or more?
Actually, there are 5 of us.
5, yeah.
Yes, but three of my siblings are much older because they were from a previous marriage. My mother married twice. Yes.
So you're the fourth or fifth?
I'm the fifth. I'm the youngest.
Oh, the youngest. Oh, I see. So everybody must love you, especially the family love.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember my oldest sister, who is, she's 15 years older than me. She would play Chopin's preludes on that piano when she would come back from school, when she'd started college. I remember listening to those pieces, and I would lie underneath the piano, and I just loved the sound of the piano and of Chopin. Not only, of course, but that was something that also left a very strong imprint.
So did you have the same teacher, your sister and you?
Not at first, but eventually I did have lessons with, yes, she also studied with Mr. Prather. When I was 7, I went to him. He was a marvelous teacher.
American.
For young children. He introduced me to music theory and notation and solfege and improvisation, all at the age of 7, which really, I owe him so much for that. I only had him for 2 years before he moved away, but that was very fortuitous.
I remember because I was watching you when I was a young man. I loved your hairstyle at that time. It's very wavy hair, a bit long.
Oh, well, that was 1990. That was 10 years later, because I did the competition twice. Yes, I had.
But I love that hair. I remember it's such a lovely hairstyle, very fashionable.
Yeah, well, we do get old, and this is about all I can manage now.
Actually, I listened to most of your YouTube. Actually, my favorite 2 pieces were this Polonaise F minor, the posthumous.
Yes.
That performed. I didn't know this piece.
Yes, it's not that often performed.
No, but it was so beautiful, and I loved how you interpreted this. Polonaise, and also the second concerto was F minor concerto, and both are in F minor. So I thought maybe it's a key, but I loved it.
Well, no, I never thought about that I have a favorite key, but I do feel that, obviously those kinds of works like the F minor concerto and that Polonaise, which we could sort of call a Polonaise mélancolique.
Polonaise,
yeah, or with the waltzes, for instance, you have the valse triste, these sort of directions in music that were so really striking in Chopin's music. That melancholy side has certainly that has a certain intrigue for me. And, but not only, I've come to really admire all of his works, even the ones from a very young age that were still brilliant. He was so ingenious, and he had a wonderful sense of humor. And, he was just really a complete human being, and I feel that his music so transparently expresses who he was, human being.
Yeah, and also it was interesting to see Kyung-Won-Chung, the Frank Sonata, the violin sonata with you, Kyung-Won-Chung.
Yes,
in the Debussy. And it's like, she's so passionate, as usual, like this. And you're very more passionate inside, but very calm. So it was very interesting, this.
There is a very special dynamic, I think, in that. And I think that's one of the things that made it work, actually. I think one of the beautiful things in chamber music is what you bring to the table, that you try to be as sincerely yourself as possible. And it's actually those differences that become part of the interaction. It's a little bit.
Do you play often together? Do you play often together?
Yes. In fact, I'm actually in Seoul at this moment, and I will be seeing her in just a few hours.
Oh, please, congratulations. I loved it. What are you going to play with her?
Well, we're preparing for a North American tour next year, and we're playing 2 fantasies, the fantasy of Schubert, as well as the fantasy of Schoenberg. And then we'll play the Debussy sonata, and the Franck sonata. So,
of course, you play apart from Chopin another repertoire. What is your favorite composer right now, or apart from Chopin?
I have so many favorite composers because they all touch me in different ways. They kind of open up different doors of my imagination. And Chopin, I could say, is in one ways one of my dearest.
Of course, yeah.
But at the same time, I could also say sometimes I really hate Chopin. It's that sort of love-hate thing that because his music directed my life so after the Chopin competition, it could sometimes really be frustrating that I didn't have enough time to explore some other avenues that I would love to have pursued if I'd had the time. It's an all-consuming thing to be a Chopin specialist. And when almost every program you're invited to perform, the organizer asks for at least one half of the program to be Chopin. But of course, I love him dearly. But sometimes we hate the people we love. And I love Schubert very much. I have felt that side of music is something that really appeals to me. I love the literature of the German Romantic and just the ideas that were sort of floating around at that time. And but equally, I love French music as well. I've recorded Ravel's works, and I feel very close to that. I'm reading a book about Fauré right now. That's just
especially the Fauré's year this year and the next year, right?
Yes, and that was one of the composers that sort of was neglected in my studies, and I hope to investigate that more in the future because I do feel that there may be a home for me in his music. I certainly love to listen to it, and I have taught his music quite a lot. And feel that in some ways his music reflects the same kind of sincerity that I feel are inherent in Chopin's composition.
Yeah, his nocturne. I'm now playing his nocturnes. It's so beautiful. And actually, compared to Ravel and Debussy, the Fauré's position is a bit minor. Not many people play as Debussy or Ravel. So I think they should really study more foreign music.
I think it's not because the music is any less valuable, but perhaps he was less interested in promoting himself. I think that really composition for Fauré was something of an inner necessity. And it was very personal to him.
Yeah.
And we could say that about other composers too. I think certainly let's take, for example, Chopin. That's certainly his later work. I don't think that he was writing many of those later works simply to get lots of sales from the publisher. I think that there was an inner necessity there too, to express what was deeply felt within him and his experience of life. But at the same time, Chopin, in his younger works, I mean, he mentioned how he performed and composed and performed works that would be pleasing to the ladies and the artists, which sort of reference to the fact that he felt that it was important that music be fully accessible to the public, to the audiences that would hear him.
Yeah.
And I think later on that wasn't so important to him. If you listen to those late works like the Cello Sonata, it's not a work that's easy to understand, but I'm sure it was a work that he struggled with because it was something that needed. The Polonaise Fantasy is another work that it's not so accessible. I've remember once trying to put together a project with a ballet dancer to connect Chopin's music with musical gestures and physical gestures, dance. And I suggested the Polonaise Fantasy because it is so poetic, and he out of hand rejected that whole idea, saying, "Oh, the Polonaise Fantasy is so rarefied, it's so impossible to understand that we wouldn't possibly want to program that." But there you are. it's a question of priorities, really. I think that for some of the really greatest composers, they simply composed what needed to be composed for their own self expression and fulfillment.
No, actually, it's a bit. I agree completely. It was a good choice to choose that Polonaise fantasy because in a way, it has a lot of like sort of it's very free, like improvisation, free time. So I think it would be much interesting rather than choosing a normal Polonaise, which is the same rhythm all the time, right? So, yeah.
I remember hearing unforgettable performance of Kate Liu. She played in Korea, in Daegu, at a competition. This was before her performances in Warsaw. And I was on that jury. And I remember listening to her in the first round. She played the Polonaise Fantasy. Yeah. My first impression was, this is so slow that she'll never be able to hold it together. And yet I kept listening. And because of her concentration and because of her intense sensibilities, she was able to hold my concentration from beginning to end. It was probably one of the longest Polonaise fantasies.
I mean, from the beginning, very slow.
Yes, from the very beginning. She chose quite a slow tempo. But it was her concentration which held it together. And by the end of that performance, the time flew. I had no sense of time. I was completely mesmerized. And that's when I started thinking about these late compositions of Chopin really do depend upon different principles than earlier works. And it does require very special sensibility. And I'm very pleased, actually, that in the next Chopin competition, there will be the inclusion of the Polonaise Fantasy in the final. I think that it's important that whoever's chosen to receive the first prize, or any of the prizes, should be able to interpret, with a kind of maturity that encompasses both the early and later styles of Chopin.
And talking about piano Chopin music, I saw all of your YouTube playing Chopin, and sometimes you play Steinway, sometimes you play Yamaha, also Kawai, different maker. But talking only about the tonality of Chopin, which maker do you think is suitable? Maybe it depends on the piece, but...
I mean, I have to say that some of the most magical experiences and enlightening experiences that I've had have been playing on a copy of Chopin's own piano, Buchholz. Yes, the sound is so transparent, and the action is very, very shallow.
I see.
So when it's just an amazing experience when you are playing some of those early works of Chopin. And the upper registers, you just put the pedal down and it sounds like bells. It's a kind of transparency to the sound, actually. It's never heavy.
The color, I see.
You see, and in fact, the decay of the sound is much quicker. But there is something so beautiful in that. There's something so intimate in the decay itself of the sound that I find it very touching. And that has really sort of shaped my ear as to what I find beautiful in Chopin's works.
So could you tell me, do you have any hobby where you're not practicing out of the concert? What is your favorite?
I have my family. And
yes.
Although they're off either studying or doing other things, they do occupy a lot of my time. And I love spending time with them and visiting them. And I love to read. Reading is something that I have found to be a kind of spiritual fuel for my life. That I need stimulation, and I love to read a whole variety of things. Everything from not just musical books, but also history. I think that is something more recently that has become very interesting to me, and I love a good novel. I do read sort of classic novels a lot and occasionally more contemporary ones. But yes, I just feel that it's one of those things that keeps your inner life working and that you don't stagnate. That constantly we need to be exposed to new ideas, whether they be the facts of history or in novels, which in many ways can speak even more truth, I think, than nonfiction. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I can't help but feel the likeness of what I do as a musician is very much like presenting fiction. We are looking at historical documents and scores, but the work that we have to do is so much more than just relating historical information. It's really having the imagination to bring that music back to life and to bring people into another realm of consciousness.
Actually, I like to read your book, writing about what the conversation we had now about Chopin and about the piano. Maybe you should write one book about the, I think.
Oh, I'm not sure that would be very interesting at all.
No, that's what I think you should do. It's a very, very interesting conversation, talking about what we talk now about the instrument, about the Chopin, the pieces about Chopin, the minor works, and your experiment. Chopin composition.
I will take that under advisement.
Yes, for you, I would buy it immediately. Musical students. No, very much.
At least I have one buyer. That's great.
No. Please think about it. I think it will be, for the younger generation, what you talked about the music, I think it's a very, very interesting thing. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I didn't mention this, but last May, I traveled to Kiev. And I performed a concert there with the National Philharmonic, Ukraine. And that was because in 2022, shortly after the invasion of Ukraine, we housed a Ukrainian family in our flat in Poland. And we became very close to them. It was actually a mother and her two children, and she is a writer and a poet. I didn't know who she was going to be. I just wrote to one of my Facebook friends and said, we would like to help. Do you know that? Who needs help? And she was from Bucha, and she escaped with her children, and they are like family to us now. So she knew the organizers of concerts in Kiev at the Philharmonic, because she had done some work with them. And they invited me to play a concert there. And so I went there and spent a couple of days. It was kind of scary because there were air raids.
Yes.
A couple of times we had to go underground.
Did you play the recital or with orchestra? Recital?
I played with orchestra. And
what did you play?
Chopin.
I see.
Yeah, and then I played a Ukrainian work for an encore. I played a work of Silvestrov. And Yulia, the poet who we took care of, she read one of her poems while I was playing. It was so it was really a nice, refreshing project for me. And I felt that as a musician, it was important for me to do something, because I felt that what was happening, apart from just the sheer horrors of this war, was that there was a kind of cultural genocide that was going on in this attempt to somehow belittle the culture of the Ukrainian people, that really they have a very beautiful culture, and it is unique. And I felt that the musicians and artists and writers, it's our obligation to make this known.
Yeah, especially so many musicians are born in Ukraine. Great musician,
For me, I felt it was imperative to do something to support that cause. So that was a very special experience for me. And
this is such a very, very full, interesting conversation. I appreciate. Thank you so much.
Of course. Pleasure, Mari.
Yes. So I hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.